We'd like to welcome on the score the goats of Philippine basketball with a combined, I think, close to 40 championships. It's insane. Is my math right? Close to 40 combined for the two of you. Is my math correct? It should be, right?
Yes, Tim, he has the most.
Well,
Let's welcome to the score.
Championship. Sure, yeah.
Coach Tim Cohn and Coach Norman Black. Hey, I won one championship in the alumni league. Okay, so I contribute one championship to this episode.
I think Coach Norman won a couple of what was that, press? Remember those coach press tournaments we used to have back in the day?
Yeah, that was the Copper Cup.
Or maybe they didn't allow you to play.
We'll count that as well. Okay, since we have two of the winningest coaches in the Philippines right here, how do you define, I guess, how do you feel when people talk to you about legacy? Like what is your ongoing legacy in Philippine basketball? Coach Tim, I'll start with you.
Wow. Well, it's 30 years and counting. Been around a long time and seen a lot through the years. Just like Norman, I entered the league when Coach Norman was winning the Grand Slam. And I've said that many times when Norman's around, but that really impacted me. That impacted my whole career, was the fact that I entered the league when his team was winning the Grand Slam. So he was always the measurement for everybody for me anyway, because I that's what I wanted to reach at that point. So, I hope the legacy continues. I hope this isn't it with this pandemic and everything.
Coach Norman, what pops in your head when people ask you about your ongoing legacy in the sport?
Well, whenever I hear the word legacy, I think of old first.
Yeah.
It means I've been around for a long time. It's amazing that Coach Tim talks about 1989 because I arrived in the Philippines in 1981. I was already here for 8 years before he entered the league. And obviously my legacy is a little bit different from Tim because I was a player and I had some success as a player before I became a player coach. And then of course, the two of us have gone on to coach for a long period of time. I think we've been very blessed. In my particular case, I've been a head coach for 35 years now here in the Philippines. So, God has been good. That's for sure.
Coach Tim, you watched Coach Norman when he was still playing and when he was a playing coach. And at that time, when you weren't a coach yet in the PBA, how did you look at Coach Norman Black?
Well, Norman Black, the player, was the quintessential, hard worker. And he was athletic. He was strong. He was probably stronger than anybody else in the league. But more importantly, he just worked hard. And I think that has been his MO throughout his whole career, working hard as a player, working hard as a coach. Not very many people outwork him. So to me, that was always, I think people forget that Norman was, he was scoring 40 points easy every night and getting 20, 25 rebounds easy every night. And very hard for imports to do that these days, but that was a piece of cake for him. And when he only had 35, it was a bad night. So, he was special. I would say that even if you're not sitting there in the screen next to me, Norman, you were special back then. And there was a reason why you've been around for so long.
Yeah, Coach Tim, you're very nice and cordial to Coach Norman now, but do you still remember the first time that you had to coach against Norman Black in the PBA?
I kind of do. I don't specifically remember, but I do remember one thing, and I'm sure Norman will not remember it because it would not be an impact to him, but it was very impactful for me. Because I was just starting out as a coach. It was 1989, and we had played them, and we had played them really tough, and they had beaten us down the stretch, and which was kind of like that's the way we were playing when I first joined the league. We'd play everybody really tough, and then we'd lose down the stretch. And but it was a big thing for us to do that against San Miguel. Like I said, they were on their way to a Grand Slam. And I saw him in the driveway of Ultra after the game. I saw him in the driveway at Ultra after the game. And he told me at that time, he said, if your guys keep playing like that, you're going to win a lot of games. I remember that quote. He said that. If you guys keep playing like that, you're going to win a lot of games. And that really, believe it or not, I remember that now for 30 plus years. So it was really impactful at that time.
Coach Norman,
you don't remember that, do you, Norman?
Do you remember that, Coach?
I'm not that much older than Tim, but no, I don't remember that one. The thing that impacted me the most about Tim Cone was the fact that we actually had a history before our history here in the Philippines, because we actually went to two schools that played in the same conference, or played each other every year in the United States. So we had a little bit of a history before because of the competition in the States. But right from the beginning, the one thing that I recognized with Coach Tim was the discipline of his teams. The fact that they were well organized, they were well disciplined, and it always helps to have a little bit of talent too, which he always has had over the years. But it's always been a struggle, it's always been a challenge to go up against them. And despite the fact that sometimes things get a little bit heated on the court, we've always been friends off the court. I mean, not the type of go out to dinner every Friday type friends, but we've always been cordial to one another. We've always been friendly to one another. I've also enjoyed the times that people don't realize that quite a few times Tim and I have been in the States together scouting for imports in the tournament.
That's been our thing.
Together. Yeah, we don't go together, but somehow we end up sitting with each other on every trip that we make to go look for imports. So we've had a little bit of a history off the court too, which is good.
We've also battled for imports too. Actually had some battles trying to get the same import a couple of times. But I've never won out every time.
And I've lost a few of those battles, yes.
No, but you've got the import, like Alex Stevenson. I was really into trying to get Alex Stevenson. And we were watching him at the same time. And he got him, we didn't. Another guy, I can't remember who it was, but I remember another time there was a camera we really wanted an import. And we were like, dang, Norman got him. So, but I don't remember ever getting an import that you wanted.
You wouldn't.
Is there something that the two of you have that a lot of other coaches don't have, which allows you to be part of this super duper exclusive club of Grand Slam coaches? Do you believe that you have something that other people don't have, Coach Norman?
Well, I think maybe there's a couple of things. One is the willingness to work hard. Like Tim said, I was really a hard worker as a player. I wasn't really super talented. I was athletic, but I wouldn't say I was super talented as far as skills, but I definitely was in better shape than everybody else, and I outworked everybody else. So that same effort you put into coaching, even if it means staying up to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going over tapes and trying to be prepared for the next day, you get it done. A lot of coaches aren't willing to do that. I mean, and it takes a special coach to really put in that effort every single game to get things done. The other thing would be, if you would ask me, I think we've probably done a good job of managing people. And that's really important. You know, you try to get the best out of the players that you have. You don't always have the most talented team in the league, or maybe you do have the most talented team. But whether you do or you don't, the key for your success is trying to get the best out of their talent, trying to get the most out of them, trying to get them to pull together as a team and play as a team and try to be successful as a team. And that takes a little bit of skill. I mean, being able to manage people because you have all these different personalities and characters that you're trying to mesh together. It takes a little bit of skill to be able to get that done. And I know that's been one of the keys to my success, and I'm sure it's been for Tim also. I actually asked Ford Auerau to pass the basketball in. He was supposed to be the inbounder on this play. But when I looked at him and told him that he was going to inbounds, he looked at me like, "Are you sure, coach? You sure you want me to do this?" I looked around to everybody on the bench and I said, "Who wants to throw the ball inbounds?" Mackie Escalona was the one to put his hands up. So he ended up being the inbounder. That's how he became the inbounder on the play.
Hey sports fans, thanks for watching The Score on the ABS-CBN Sports YouTube channel. Click on this button and subscribe for more sports videos.